Hello everybody, this time we are going to learn about GitLab and his workflow. So let's begin. Okay, the first thing we going to see is an introduction about what is Git and GitLab. Branch and DevOps, where developers and operations work together. Then installation and configuration of Git and GitLab. Installing Git, assigning a email, name, and other configurations. Then we are going to end with a practical example about how to work with Git and remote repositories, creating, cloning, and changing of repositories to Git. So, okay, let's begin. First of all, what is Git? Git is a version control system that allow you to manage and monitor the changes that are being made in an individual or collaborative project. Also, Git is managed by branches, and each branch has a point where it generates an additional line of work for a test version or collaborative with a partner. It's good for when you are working with more persons or in your job when there's a mess like you saw us doing. Okay, then each time we generate a change, a node is created in the branch with a date. What it means? We're going to see it more in this course, but it's a branch. It's a line of time. That line of time is where we each time we made a change. That's a little tag where we can back in the time trying to know, oh, okay, what I have changed. Oh, I changed a button, a letter, or something big. Okay, I can roll back and see what I did in that moment. Also, I generate a note when I split that line of time in two. Why I should do that? Okay, when I am working with a coworker, a partner, or a friend, or someone, this person can take a copy, cloning the project, generating a node, and he can work in a exact version of our project, and he can keep working in his side and merge with the original timeline in us, making only a project actualized with all the work from our coworkers. I hope I have the explainable enough. Check log and description that serves as a reference to return to the point to how to project. What's the time so fine? Uh, Well, now change log and description that serves as a reference to return to that point to how to project was at that time so the two or more people can work in parallel on the same project. It's the same what I have been saying in the first point. So two persons can make a collaborative project in a same way, in the same line, and splitting in branches with Git. But that's part about how this is working the workflow in GitLab. Here is an example of how Git branches are useful. Let's say you need to work on a new feature for a website. You create a new branch and start working. You haven't finished your new feature, but you get a request to make a route change that needs to go live on the site today. You switch back to the master branch, make the change, and push it live. Then you can switch back to your new feature branch and finish your work. When you're done, you merge the new feature branch in the master branch and both the new feature and route change are kept. Well, this part is very simple. So we're going to talk about how is to work with GitLab. In this moment, I am just going to accept to install the executable from Git. It's yes, usually leave this as the file. And let's get next. Reading is a good idea. Permanent next. Use a boundless open chat, open edge, which is extended. And then, in fact, there is not so much problem. It's just next, and next. You probably are going to have an early version on the Git. So, hope we can work on that. Let's not stop so much in this part. So, great. When we have already installed Git, we're going to see in our options showing here in right click git bash here. I am already in a file where I can work. So I am going to open the terminal where I can work with Git. So for start or configuration, we're going to first async a name and email. So it's first git config less global user point name. um, it's my name. So you can use any name. I am using this as an example. And if you see that there is no any problem or error, you can follow it. It means that it already accepted the changes. So let's keep going. Then we say git config reference global user email. Delete this. So it's not config. Sorry. As you can see, if you have a problem, there is always a new or a message to say what is happening. So making a little fix. There it is. Now we have already configured our work and our credentials to work with Git and GitLab. Then we are going to initial our repository in Git. If I am already in this file, I work here. But if you don't want as a normal terminal, you can uh, throw a, move a through all the files until you find all characteristic you working file. So there it is. I'm going to close this just to do again the example. It's a faster way for me. So if I want to work in this file, I just say open here and ready to stock Git. Nice. So to create our repository and start working with our project. So let's begin. First of all, we create our local repository with Git init. There it is. Okay, to create our repository. We have already configured our credentials, so we are then next going to our project. I have already create a project, but let's begin from the beginning. Create a new project, create a blank project, uh, git workflow. Okay. Uh, uh, Something it's important. We have to already have a group. A group it's already a group of users that make a group for work on our project. So we assign people to work on this one in our database that we have in on GitLab. So I am going to only assign a person that it's me, Klaus Webb. Okay, I am going to make my project public and I am going only to work with a project that name is Redmi. So there it is. It's great. So wait. To make to clone a project, we only have to say git clone and the URL that is we have so clone. Oh, sorry, clone clone. There it is. Okay, we have now a copy of our project. So let's see it. As you can see, we have a repository here. Be careful because you could be working on the wrong repository. Only use that in my main file to have my projects and work on my projects individually with their own repository. So let's well, now we are going to start working with. Here I have already a test where I can, well, an example where I can start working. For example, for begin, we are going to start in a clean repository. So let's delete everything. Here it is. There it is. First of all, we are going to open our Git bash here. To start, we are going to start our repository with git init. There it is. Then we have to add our credentials. For other credentials, we're going to go to configurations, user.name, Klaus Web. If we press in this moment enter, we're going to have our username to work with our repository. It's the credentials we have for have an identification for see how is updating in local and in remote repository. So then we are going to add our email. In this moment I am not going to press enter, but it's the idea because I have already these credentials in my repository configured in my Git. So then we're going to add our remote repository. For that we do git mode add origin and the others where we are going to work. In this moment it's going to be the URL that we have for our repository. Okay, yes, ready. In this moment, it's going to say that I have already this repository. Oh, well, it's true. I have already recreated everything. So let me recheck with this case. Git config less global user to say what instructions were adding between commas and close web. Let's see. I think I did something wrong. Global, sorry, it's globals. That's right. Then the same for our email. There it is. Okay, now that we have already our credentials, we are going to add our remote repository. Oh no, we already did it. Muy bien. Okay, here we go. What else? When we have our remote repository assigned and our credentials, it is true. Then we are going to clone our project from our repository. This comes from in code. Also, it is working for GitLab, and we copy our URL. Also, in its age, we can do that. So we do that. We proceed to clone with git clone and the address we have copied already. Great. Now we have a copy from our project that is in our repository. So we are going to check what we have. Remember, in this moment we are in the desktop tutorial, but when we was in the desktop tutorial, but now we have to work in the we repeat the repository. We have to work in the file that we are making our changes. So if we have problems, we also only have to open our repository or move, like if we are in a terminal. Okay, so we have already our project. Let's edit that. Hello Git. Okay, we save. And now we are going to add our change. First of all, as I have explained, I'm going to add to our waiting area git txt. Oh, sorry. Git add txt. If we want to add a file, we have to make a little space and then write the name of the file. Space for another, and then in this moment we are only going to add or change in the text that we have already make our updates. So here it is. Now we are going to save in our repository with git commit yes, and and a text where we explain the change. It's ready. We have our changes. Then we're going to push to the origin. So it is git push origin with our changes to remote. Usually there comes a screen where we have to add our credentials. But at this moment it's already added because I have this already. Let's check out in our remote repository. We have only on number 1. Let's update the page. And there it is. Hello Git. We have already updated our information and cloned our repository. It's all for now. Thank you very much and see you next time.